What if I told you that um, the most aggressive microscopic weapon you can deploy against toxic black mold is made of just three things?
Right, and it's stuff you already have.
Yeah, literally just water, salt, and like a little bit of electricity.
Which sounds totally made up.
It really does. But put down the bleach, because today we're looking at a compound that entirely flips the script on how we handle household hazards.
Oh, absolutely.
Because you know the scenario. You're heading down into the basement, or maybe looking up at the bathroom ceiling, and you spot it.
That fuzzy, dark patch.
Right, mold. And your immediate instinct is probably pure panic, followed by a frantic grab for like the harshest, most eye-watering chemical you keep under the sink.
Oh, for sure. You gear up like you're entering a hazmat zone.
Exactly.
And honestly, it is a completely understandable reaction because we've been, thoroughly conditioned to think that extreme biological problems require extremely toxic chemical solutions.
Like we equate the smell of burning ammonia and bleach with safety.
Right, safety and cleanliness. But if we actually look at the underlying chemistry of what is happening when we deploy those chemicals, that instinct might actually be causing significant collateral damage to our homes.
All while failing to solve the root issue. Right.
Exactly.
Which is exactly why today's deep dive is dedicated to an April 2026 guide by Nikki Chase from Era Organics.
Really fascinating piece of research.
It really is. It details a surprisingly simple, entirely non-toxic alternative to our usual chemical warfare. It's called hypochlorous acid, or HOCl.
HOCl.
Right. And our mission today is to figure out what this compound is, how it biologically dismantles mold, and why massive industrial sectors have been utilizing it for years.
While the rest of us are still out here accidentally bleaching our clothes.
So true. Okay, let's unpack this. Before we start indiscriminately spraying the stuff around our living rooms, we need to understand the underlying science.
We do.
What is the actual microscopic chemical warfare happening when we use HOCl?
Well, to understand the warfare, you first have to look at the incredibly minimal ammunition. Okay, when you review the chemical makeup of a hypochlorous acid solution, it sounds almost too simple to be effective.
Like we said earlier, water, salt, and electricity.
Basically, yeah. You have purified water, you have sodium chloride, which is just salt,
Right.
and you have the hypochlorous acid itself, which is generated by running an electrical charge through that salt water.
Wait, that is it?
That is it. But the way those simple ingredients interact with fungal spores is, honestly, violently aggressive.
Wow.
It operates through a process called oxidation.
Oxidation. Now, I know we throw that word around a lot in health circles, usually, talking about antioxidants preventing it.
Sure, yeah.
But in chemistry, oxidation essentially means electron theft.
Right, precisely.
Yeah.
And this is where the HOW of the mechanism becomes so crucial.
Okay, walk me through it.
So every cell wall, including the thick protective walls of a toxic mold spore, is held together by molecules that rely on paired electrons.
Like a structural foundation.
Exactly. Those paired electrons act like chemical glue. Now, hypochlorous acid is a highly reactive, electron-hungry molecule.
Oh, I see where this is going.
Right. When it comes into contact with mold, it doesn't just sit on the surface. It actively attacks the cell wall and rips those essential electrons away from the mold's molecular structure.
So if I can visualize this, it's not like popping a balloon. Because if you pop a balloon, you're just putting a hole in a single barrier.
Right, that's too simple.
This sounds more like pulling a critical load-bearing block out of a Jenga tower.
Oh, that's a great way to put it.
Yeah, the tower, the mold cell, it doesn't just get a hole in it. Its entire structural integrity collapses from the inside out because the fundamental building blocks holding it together were forcibly removed.
That is the perfect way to look at it. The electron theft is the missing Jenga block. By compromising the structural integrity at the molecular level, HOCl neutralizes the spores completely.
It just halts it.
Halts the growth right at the source. It isn't just cleaning the visible surface, it is fundamentally dismantling the organism.
But I have to push back here.
Go ahead.
Wait. Purified water, salt, and acid. How does that concoction actually take down something as resilient as toxic black mold?
It's a fair question.
I mean, toxic mold is notoriously difficult to eradicate.
What's fascinating here is that we often mistake chemical simplicity for biological weakness.
Oh, interesting.
The specific formulation of these three ingredients creates an environment that is uniquely hostile to pathogens.
Like specifically hostile.
Yeah. Chase's research points to a pivotal 2016 study by Nunes et al. That specifically examined this exact mechanism.
Okay, what did they find?
They demonstrated that this specific hypochlorous acid mixture neutralizes fungal spores with extreme prejudice.
Extreme prejudice, wow.
Yeah, it works just as effectively against the toxic, highly resilient strains of mold as the harshest conventional chemicals do.
Oh, yeah.
But the key difference is how it interacts with the environment around the mold. You get the destructive power of oxidation without the toxic fallout.
Okay, so if this destroys cells so efficiently, the logical question for anyone listening is, why is it better than bleach?
Right.
Because bleach kills mold. Bleach destroys things. Why should we bother making the switch?
This requires us to look at how bleach actually interacts with the materials in your home versus how hypochlorous acid does.
Okay, let's compare them.
Let's take porous surfaces like drywall or raw wood.
Which is exactly where mold loves to hide.
Exactly. Bleach is primarily made of sodium hypochlorite, which carries a negative ionic charge.
Okay, negative charge.
Guess what else carries a negative charge? The fungi and the surface of the mold itself.
Oh, wait.
So when you spray bleach on porous drywall, the negative charges repel each other.
Just like two magnets.
Exactly like magnets. The active ingredient in the bleach cannot penetrate the surface. It just stays on top, bleaching the visible mold white, but leaving the deep-rooted fungal network entirely intact.
That is wild.
And furthermore, bleach contains a massive amount of water, which it leaves behind, essentially watering the invisible mold roots you failed to kill.
Oh my God. So bleach acts like a bad camouflage job.
Yeah, pretty much.
Makes the wall look clean, but it actually feeds the problem hiding underneath.
Exactly. Hypochlorous acid, however, is a neutral molecule. It carries no charge.
So it doesn't get repelled.
Right. Because it lacks that negative charge, it is not repelled by the mold or the porous surfaces. It effortlessly penetrates deep into the drywall, the wood, or the grout, hunting down the invisible root networks.
And destroying them via that Jenga tower oxidation we just talked about.
You got it.
Okay, I'm with you on the drywall and the grout. But looking at the air organics material, it claims this stuff is safe for sensitive materials.
Yes, it does.
Wait, hold on. You just said the word acid.
I know.
And now you're saying I can spray an acid directly onto my upholstered couch or my carpets or my clothing to kill a damp mold spot.
It sounds crazy.
That sounds like a guaranteed recipe for a ruined piece of furniture.
I completely agree. The moment we hear the word acid, we picture the xenomorph from the Alien movies burning through the floorboards.
Yes, exactly.
But this comes down to pH levels. Hypochlorous acid is a weak acid. Its pH level generally sits right around 5.5 to 6.5.
Okay, and what does that mean practically?
Well, for context, that is incredibly close to the natural pH of your own skin.
Oh, wow. Really?
Yeah. So, yes, the documentation explicitly states that it preserves fiber integrity.
That's amazing.
It is aggressive enough to steal electrons from microscopic pathogens, but its pH is gentle enough that it does not weaken textile fibers or cause discoloration the way high pH alkaline chemicals like bleach do.
That is wild. And the practical application is remarkably straightforward, but it requires patience.
It does. You can't rush it.
Yeah. The methodology is to spray the hypochlorous acid directly onto the affected surface, ensuring full saturation. Then you absolutely must wait 10 to 15 minutes.
Right.
You cannot just spray and immediately wipe.
Right, because of what we discussed regarding penetration. That 10 to 15 minutes is the window required for that neutral HOCl molecule to seep down deep into the porous material and execute the electron theft.
So it needs time to work its way in.
Exactly. If you wipe it away immediately, you are only treating the surface, making the exact same mistake you would with bleach. After that window, you simply wipe it away with a clean, dry cloth.
And having that material safety takes the hesitation out of the equation.
Totally.
Like if you have a damp spot on your carpet from a spilled drink, you don't have to wait to see if mold forms because you're afraid to bleach your rug.
Right, you just treat it.
You can just treat it proactively. But if it is truly this safe on a couch, and it's basically the pH of human skin, I am tempted to buy industrial-grade HOCl and just douse my entire house in it.
I mean, people do think that way.
Right. Is there any reason I shouldn't just use maximum power for everything?
It's a tempting thought, but concentration really matters here. It's about deploying the right tool for the job.
Okay, so there are different strengths.
Yeah, the research breaks down a very specific playbook utilizing 3 distinct concentration tiers measured in parts per million, or ppm.
Parts per million.
Think of ppm as the density of the soldiers on the microscopic battlefield. 50 parts per million means 50 molecules of HOCl for every million molecules of water.
Got it. So what are the tiers?
First, you have the low concentration, which is between 50 and 100 ppm.
And that's for what?
This is your daily maintenance tier. You use this for lightly misting areas that frequently get damp, like your shower grout, to prevent the initial spores from taking hold.
Just everyday cleaning.
Exactly. Then you move up to the medium concentration, 200 to 400 ppm.
Right.
This is the general purpose household disinfectant. When you actually spot a patch of mold or you're doing a deeper clean of an affected basement wall, this strength balances serious eradication with everyday material safety.
And then there's the heavy artillery,
Oh, yeah?
the high concentration tier.
500 ppm and above. You do not need this for your daily bathroom wipe down. This density of HOCl is utilized by professional remediation teams handling industrial contamination sites or when dealing with incredibly thick, stubborn mold colonies on non-porous surfaces. It ensures rapid, absolute destruction of intense fungal structures.
Okay, so what does this all mean?
Well,
It means we have an incredibly effective, highly calibrated weapon.
right.
But here is where we need to deliver a bit of a reality check for you listening at home.
Definitely.
Because as miraculous as this compound sounds, hypochlorous acid provides long-lasting but fundamentally temporary protection.
That's a crucial point.
When it dries, it leaves absolutely no chemical residue behind. That is fantastic for your lungs and your fabrics, but it means there is no lingering chemical shield to stop new spores from eventually drifting in and settling down.
Right.
It is a highly effective treatment, but it is not a magic cure.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, it underscores the difference between treating a symptom and curing a disease.
Exactly.
Hypochlorous acid brilliantly destroys the mold that exists, but true long-term mold prevention requires you to address the root causes of the environment.
Why is the mold even there?
Right. Why is the mold thriving there in the first place? You have to fix the poor ventilation. You have to repair the leaky pipe. You need proper dehumidification to pull moisture out of the air.
Yeah, you have to do the work.
If you do not fix the structural moisture problem, the mold will eventually return, no matter how scientifically advanced your cleaning protocol is.
Right. You can't just spray an electron-stealing acid on a leaky pipe and expect the pipe to stop leaking.
Nope.
You still have to do the home maintenance. Now, we have spent a lot of time praising the safety profile of HOCl. We've talked about its skin-safe pH and its lack of toxic residue.
Which are huge benefits.
But we need to pivot to a massive critical warning. What happens if I decide to mix this with the other cleaners currently sitting in my cabinet?
You must absolutely never do that.
Okay, never.
While hypochlorous acid is incredibly safe on its own, it must never be mixed directly with other traditional household cleaners.
Like what?
Specifically, you cannot mix it with bleach, ammonia, or products containing strong acids or alkalis.
So no pouring them into the same bucket to make a super cleaner, and no spraying one on a surface and then immediately spraying the other right on top of it.
Exactly. And the chemistry behind why is terrifying.
Really? What happens?
When you mix hypochlorous acid with ammonia, for instance, a violent chemical reaction occurs that creates chloramine gas.
Oh my God.
Yeah. This is a highly toxic vapor that causes immediate severe damage to your respiratory system, burning your eyes, throat, and lungs.
That is terrifying.
Furthermore, introducing these harsh chemicals degrades the hypochlorous acid itself, completely ruining its structural integrity. It stops working as a pathogen killer and simply becomes a localized respiratory hazard.
So you ruin the cleaner and poison yourself.
Precisely. You have to use it entirely alone or exclusively with non-reactive agents that are explicitly confirmed to be compatible.
That completely upends the old habit we have of thinking, oh, if a little bit of cleaner is good, a cocktail of 5 different cleaners must be amazing.
Oh, terrible idea.
Let the hypochlorous acid do its job alone.
Yes.
But here's where it gets really interesting. Once you realize you have this highly effective standalone compound that acts entirely on electron theft, you start to see how incredibly versatile it is.
It's everywhere once you look for it.
The ERA Organics data outlines the broader applications of HOCl, and honestly, the sheer scale of its use makes our obsession with bleach look incredibly outdated. We're not just talking about cleaning bathroom grout.
But not at all. The versatility is staggering, and it all traces back to that unique neutral molecule.
Right.
Because it is so ruthlessly effective at neutralizing pathogens without leaving dangerous chemical residues, entire massive industrial sectors rely on it daily.
Like who?
It is heavily integrated into commercial HVAC maintenance, heating, ventilation, and air conditioning. They use it to sterilize the coils and ductwork, preventing microbial spread through the air we breathe in large buildings. That makes so much sense.
It is also a staple in food processing facilities to sanitize surfaces, without contaminating the food supply with toxic residue.
And the numbers completely validate the hype. The research states it kills 99.9% of bacteria and viruses on high-touch surfaces.
Which is incredible.
Yeah. Schools and corporate offices are currently using it to wipe down desks and door handles to mitigate the spread of seasonal illnesses. It is even explicitly noted as effective against norovirus.
Oh, wow.
And anyone with kids knows that is notoriously difficult to eradicate from a household.
That's a nightmare.
Right. They are even using it in municipal water treatment systems to purify drinking water from bacteria and viruses.
Which really contextualizes its safety profile.
Seriously.
If municipal governments are utilizing this exact compound to treat the water you drink, it speaks volumes about its safety for human exposure compared to what is currently sitting under your kitchen sink.
But the absolute most surprising application to me, and this is where the contrast really hits home, is skincare.
Yes, skincare. You can use the exact same active compound, utilizing the exact same process of oxidation that is destroying toxic black mold in your basement to treat a child's scraped knee.
It's hard to wrap your head around.
Because of its targeted antimicrobial properties and that skin-friendly pH we discussed, it is heavily used in dermatology to treat acne, surface wounds, and skin infections.
Right.
It acts as a gentle, non-stinging antiseptic that promotes rapid healing without damaging the surrounding healthy tissue. It is so remarkably gentle, they specifically highlight it as ideal for pediatric wound care.
It is a brilliant contrast that demands we rethink our consumer habits.
Oh, absolutely.
Think about the sheer absurdity of the modern bathroom cabinet. You probably have 15 different plastic bottles in there.
Oh, at least.
You have a harsh, corrosive bleach for the mold. You have a separate, artificially scented toxic spray for the kitchen countertops. You have stinging, alcohol-based antiseptic for a paper cut.
Right. A different bottle for everything.
Exactly. What we are looking at with HOCl is a single, sustainable compound that has the potential to replace almost all of them. This one environmentally friendly disinfectant bridges the massive gap between heavy-duty industrial remediation and delicate personal skincare.
It fundamentally challenges the entire hazmat routine we talked about at the very beginning of the show.
It really does.
So let's synthesize the journey we've been on today. We started with the sheer panic of finding household mold and the deeply ingrained instinct to obliterate it with bleach.
Right.
But we've learned that hypochlorous acid is a highly adaptable, profoundly powerful alternative. It relies on a shockingly simple mix of purified water, salt, and electricity to utilize oxidation.
Yes.
By acting as a neutral molecule, it slips past the defenses of porous surfaces, stealing electrons to systematically collapse the structural integrity of mold cells from the inside out.
And we explored how that precise mechanism scales beautifully. From a gentle 50 ppm daily misting solution for your shower, all the way up to a 500 ppm industrial remediation treatment.
All while remaining safe for materials.
Exactly. It remains a materially safe alternative that will not bleach your couch or degrade your home's structural integrity.
Right.
Provided, of course, that you remember the golden rule of chemistry: never, ever mix it with bleach or ammonia lest you want to create toxic chloramine gas.
Super important.
And finally, we acknowledge that while it is an unparalleled tool for eradication, you still have to put in the work to fix those underlying humidity and ventilation issues to deny the mold a hospitable environment in the first place.
Exactly. It's an incredibly smart treatment, not a cure-all for a leaky roof. But it undoubtedly changes the game for how we manage the biological hazards in our homes.
Completely.
Which brings me back to where we started. We have been so heavily marketed to, so conditioned to believe that if chemical doesn't burn our eyes and stain our clothes, it simply isn't working.
We want that pain.
Right? We grab the harsh bleach without a second thought because it feels powerful. But if an eco-friendly, fundamentally simple compound like hypochlorous acid has been successfully utilized by massive, highly regulated industries like healthcare, municipal water treatment, and commercial HVAC for years to keep us safe,
Yeah.
what other highly effective, completely non-toxic commercial solutions are hiding in plain sight, just waiting to replace the harsh chemicals we've been conditioned to buy for our homes, something to mull over the next time you open that cabinet under the sink?